Oh, almost. Welcome back to another video, everybody. In this video, we are getting the interior dialed on the all-wheel drive Miata, fixing the steering column, getting the dash in there for good, getting the trans tunnel all sealed, gonna install a wideband, bleed the brakes better, bed in the brakes, and rip it, hopefully. That's the goal. If we can fix all those things, have seats, all that done, then at the end of this video, we can really rip it. If the wideband confirms that it's running white. If you guys have missed any of the previous all-wheel drive Miata videos, make sure to go check them out. In the last video, we hit boost, we heard that wastegate open, which was awesome. But yeah, let's get to work. First issue we're dealing with in this video is the steering column. Now, when I made the mount that holds the steering column to the cage, to the car, I made it way too low. So if you're sitting on this very low seat, by the way, it's pretty much on the ground, the steering wheel is touching your knees, and the top of the steering wheel is right where the gauges have to be. So the steering wheel has to go up 2-3 inches. Thankfully, that's not too crazy difficult. We have this lovely mount right here. We can cut it right at the bottom, cut a section out, move it up, and then it's good. You can cut about 2 inches out from there, 2 inches out from there, you know, equal enough inches up here. And thankfully the wiring isn't too close, so we should be able to get a saw in there without damaging anything. All right, I'm not complaining here. I'm just acknowledging something. It went from being winter here in St. Charles, Illinois, Chicago, to being summer in one day. The past week, it's been like, 30s at night, 40s to 50s during the day, sometimes into the 60s. Today, it's 80 degrees. The first day I've worn shorts, and the first day I've sweated. We missed what happened to all the spring days of 65 during the day, and 45 during the night? What? Anyway, cut the section out. Now we can raise that and weld her. So due to my incompetence, this is where the steering wheel was. This is where it should be. It's so much more comfortable up here. I feel like I'm driving a car, not. I don't know what I'd be driving with a steering wheel this low, but not a car. Not a cool car, at least. Now I just gotta tack it together. I'm gonna try to make the weld as strong as I can, but I'm not gonna be able to reach the back, so. Now, whenever you weld something on a car, disconnect the battery. If you don't do it, there's a chance that you can fry your battery. Hey baby, I'm not your superhuman. I hate to let you down. Keep my Now that that's fixed, we're gonna go ahead and make a cool center console thing out of aluminum that covers up the big hole that we had to cut in order to fit the shifter linkage in the trans tunnel. It'll be pretty basic, pretty cool. It'll riv knot in, it'll have a gasket. The goal is just to seal out all the hot air, seal out the potential exploding drive shaft or debris, and to seal out the noise. Well, that's done. It's not fully bolted down. We will add a shift boot at some point, something like rubber, but it looks good. Put some door edge trim around it so it kind of seals up properly and it looks nice. And then there's some heat reflective tape from Mishimoto on the back side of it to keep the heat out. So that should make it nice and quiet. And if the drive shaft explodes, hopefully that will protect me mostly. We're pretty much ready to put the dash back in, but we want to wire some stuff up and modify the dash. So I want to mount the Subaru ignition switch where the cigarette lighter is in the dash, so that would be cool. I also want to wire in the wideband we have from Moss Miata and the eBay boost gauge that I got way back when this thing was supercharged. It's just chilled in the dash ever since. So we can wire all that up. Scrap the cigarette lighter idea. I think I want to put it in one of the AirPods. It should fit perfectly. This is actually, ironically, the exact same size as like a gauge, which I know fits in there perfectly. So, we'll try it. pretty happy with this. I tested to make sure it fits in the actual tombstone, and it's perfect. So I think that's gonna be pretty cool. Now on to the gauge wiring. So the Cobb access port has a bunch of gauges built into it. It has a wideband gauge built into it, a boost gauge built into it, but sometimes when you're in a pole, it's hard to see those gauges and the resolution of those gauges, meaning the frequency of which they update and how accurate they are is not the best. So we're adding an external boost gauge and an external O2 sensor. Neither of those things will be communicating to the ECU at all, so it's really easy to wire in. The O2 sensor needs a switched red, a switch power, and a ground. The boost gauge needs a switched power, a constant power, and a ground. So. It didn't work, I failed. Now the question is, did I wire something wrong? Or was the switch 12 volt source from the internet wrong? Assuming the internet was wrong, because I'm always right. As you can see, it works. So neither of us were wrong, the wire tap just wasn't all the way in, so. Oh, yes! That's so awesome seeing all the lights turn on like a finish interior. So, ignition right here. Turns on everything, all the lights are on. And then I don't need to put the clutch in anymore, so that's all fixed. And then put gauges on for that. Hopefully this looks all decent. Cool. Then so yesterday we had finally finished the interior, got it all put back together. So we're gonna take it for a drive, rip it some, have some fun. We started it and it ran like complete crap. Not sure if I got any footage of it, but it essentially sounded like it had a vacuum leak. It was kind of pinging and it just idled really, really lean and just, it was really bad. Did not like it. You revved it up and then it died and it was really bad. The thing is that we only messed with one vacuum line, the vacuum line to the boost gauge. So we took that off and it didn't change anything. And the only other thing we've touched since it was running perfectly fine yesterday, or the day before yesterday now, was the downpipe. We took that off and welded a bung in it. That's all. So somehow this car has mysteriously gained a vacuum leak somewhere, and we checked for an hour or two last night and we could not find it anywhere. Today, I'm going to make a budget smoke tester for a vacuum leak / boost leak, and we're gonna find that vacuum leak, we're gonna fix it, we're gonna get it running right. I don't think it's a tune issue because Mike had just come and made the tune better, and before Mike made the tune better, it was fine, so it should be fine, but I don't know. For some reason, it's running really poorly, and it's a mystery. So this is what we're gonna need in order to make this little smoke tester. Some sort of container that's big enough to have the soldering iron, soldering, solder, that's solder, it's not soldering. So this is everything that we're gonna need to make this smoke tester. Container, soldering iron, some epoxy, just an airline, a valve stem, baby oil, some sort of rag, which I don't have here, and a bike pump. Essentially, you put all this stuff in this container, the soldering iron heats up the baby oil that's in the rag, creates smoke. Then you pump air from the bike pump through the canister and into the engine. And then since you're pumping smoke into the engine, it will leak out wherever there's a leak and you'll fix it. Or at least that's the idea. And I got all of this stuff for 35 bucks at a hardware store, which is more than I needed to spend because I went to Ace instead of like Walmart, but still not that bad. I think I found something better. It's a Subaru water bottle. That's ironic. Subaru water bottle to check my leaky Subaru engine. Of course it didn't focus, you know? That's just the way she goes. And pull it through. Nice and epoxied. Sweet. I started it up to see if it was gonna act weird, but it's like fine now. It's weird. But it's also cold, so it might start being weird if it warms up a little bit. I don't know, I'm so confused. Starting to sound weird now. So it gets lean, as you can tell. Okay. Now you stuff something. I'm using a microfiber into the contraption. Then you get your baby oil, douse it in there. Sure that's enough. Then you put your heating element onto the cap and you plug her in. Ladies and gents, it's working. We have our thing right there. All right, it's not hooked up to anything, obviously. Raise the bike pump, and I'm just gonna drop it, and look at that. Some smoke coming out of it. Nothing crazy yet, but we're gonna hook her up and start pumping her up. Why is it not smoking? Why is it... So unfortunately, my contraption that I built, the soldering iron is not airtight. So watch, when I pump it, it comes out the top of the soldering iron. But there is still stuff getting up here. If I take one of the caps off, you know, smoke fumes out. Look at that. It's coming out the intake, which is good, that's what you want, and it's not coming out anywhere else. So we don't have any vacuum leaks. No vacuum leaks, no boost leaks. And I checked around a decent amount. I have no idea if burning baby oil is toxic, but if it is, I'm dying. See, when I pump it, it comes out the filter, which is good. It also comes out the cap, which is bad. I can fix that later. But just to make sure, you know, everything's working, take that nipple off, lots of smoke. Put the nipple back on, pump it. It ain't coming out anywhere besides the filter. I'm gonna turn this off. Yeah, nothing over here, nothing over there, which I guess makes sense because, you know, why would a vacuum leak suddenly happen? You know, we made sure that there was no vacuum leaks earlier and then it stopped running right. So I think what happened is that there's just something up with the tune. I don't know, maybe Mike missed something. I don't know, but it's gotta be a tune thing. I don't know what else it could be. All we did was add the O2 sensor and put that boost gauge on. But we did change the tune. It seemed to be running just fine with the tune, you know, in the last video, but not now, I guess. Interesting. Either way, that's not a huge deal right now. Mike or someone will come and help fix that tune if that's the issue, or help me figure out whatever the issue is. This video is about the interior, so we're gonna continue with the interior. The new seats are coming tomorrow, so I'm going to go ahead and start making parts with the brackets. you have the 4 lengthwise bars for the seat brackets complete. These bolt from the front to the rear on each side of the seat. Then we'll have plates going across where the seat bolts into. It's exactly like the little bracket that we made here on Pasha's seat. As you can see, these are the things I just made, and then we'll make these. We're not gonna make these until we have the seat though, because we don't know where to place them. See, this seat is only flat right from here to here, so we had to place them here to here. Now, if the other seat is flat across the entire thing, then we'll spread them out to spread the load, but we have to wait. For now, I can at least cut the pieces out, because I know what length they gotta be, and then I can do some small stuff like put the license plate on and just look at it for a little bit, because I like doing that. It's one of my favorite pastimes now. I mean, look at it. Before and after. This past month, I've spent so much time just rushing and trying to focus on the Rally Miata, getting that done, that the shop had kind of taken, the shop had fallen into disaster. It was a mess in here. You know, there's empty boxes everywhere, and there was just a small clearing where you could walk through to get to everything, but it is looking nice. There's so many things I want to do to this shop, like make this office better, get more lights, and all sorts of crap. Hopefully some of those things will happen soon. And, the seats are here. If you're asking yourself, Caleb, why did you go with an aluminum seat? Why didn't you go with something like a Sparko or a Corbo, or a Breed? No, that's not Breed, it's Bride. Why didn't I go with any of those? Well, the problem is that it's a Miata, and a Miata it's very hard to fit any seat in a Miata. The Miata does not have very much room for any seats. Then you add a cage, and that gets rid of even more room. So really, the only type of seat that will fit in a cage Miata is an aluminum seat. So these are Kirkey 65 series adjustable seats. They are for the road racing. They're actually very comfy. This is the cover for the seat. It's got lots of foam, black, it's washable, so it's not actually gonna look aluminum. But the nice thing about an aluminum seat is that, you know, it's 1/8 of an inch thick. Whereas you get a Bride or something like that, it's 1 inch or more thick. It just takes up too much room. The other nice thing about aluminum seats is that they're the lightest seats out there. You ain't getting lighter. This thing's still pretty big, but, oh, damn, that is so close. Not sure if you can see this fitment. Literally, well, it's touching right now, but when it's actually level, it's 1/8 of an inch off the roll cage. Oh, this is exciting though. Ah. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, this is great. Wow. Cool, so we gotta finish those brackets, and both are in. The hardest part is getting in and out. It's bolted in there, you can tell. Hopefully it all feels good. If it doesn't, then I have to remake things. Oh, it's just barely bigger than the other one, which is perfect, because the other one is a little too tight. But yeah, this feels good. Not too close, not too far, good lean. Steering wheel would be right here. Oh yeah, it's perfect. This is great. Door closed, how low are we? Had to bend this shoulder in a little bit because it hits the got it, but it's low. It's nice. It's definitely good. It's got good room around the cage. Now I have to make another one. see how comfy the seat is, eh? I've been told it's very comfortable, and it looks really comfortable. It also looks pretty tight, but hey, that's good, right? Racing seat. Ooh, okay. That's really comfy. It like holds you in perfectly. I like it, this one, compared to the drag seat that Pasha has, that one holds your arms in a little bit too much. This one allows you to move around because it's a road course seat. Yeah, this is perfect. I like exactly where it is. It's sturdy, doesn't move around, it's pretty comfy. Hell yeah. It's not like the best looking seat, you know, it's nothing special, but it fits. I'd rather have a seat that fits and it's fun to drive than a seat that looks good and doesn't fit. So I also went ahead and put in the racing harness, at least the lap belt portion of the racing harness, as you can see. I'll put the shoulder belt on eventually, but I have some clear bra vinyl wrap to go onto all the bars, and I want to do that before I wrap a harness around them, because these bars are getting scuffed up, which sucks, but I want to try to minimize the scuffing they get, so I'm going to wait to put some things on until I have that protective stuff. That's why the tape is there. You know, we can touch up every place that it's scuffed, but it's better if it's just good. The last piece of the puzzle has arrived. It's an energy race hub for the Miata. So instead of being that big hub that bolts onto, it's this tiny hub that's got part of the quick release built into it. Nice.
Entering the maze of the Rally Miata interior. First, you must go through the wall of door bars, then through the tangle of belts, into the grasp of the seat. Grab the steering wheel. That's nice. Don't have to worry about getting around the steering wheel. Buckle in, just with one belt for now. It already feels so much more like a car, so much more safe. There we go. Take the Subi key, put it in the ignition. That's in an air vent. I have to glue it in more because it's come loose. The fuel pump priming. Sure our cob's on. Like I said, it probably will run a little bad because the tune's off, but. It's rough at first, okay? All right, now we can drive, boys. Here we are driving the world's first all-wheel drive Miata, pretty much finished. I mean, small detail stuff needs to be figured out, but it's got an interior, it's got seats, it's got seat belts pretty much. It's pretty much finished. It feels like really cool driving it like an actual finished car. Here we go. I'm not gonna get into boost or anything, unfortunately. It drives so smooth, super comfy, but it feels like a Miata still. It has that turn in that you like. Oh, yikes. Engine is not tuned well, so like I tried to rev match and clunk. But yeah, like it feels like a Miata and it's all-wheel drive. It's got a Subaru engine that's built. Oh, this is so awesome. I can't wait until we can rip it, but this is still pretty awesome. I'm definitely happy that we're here. Ladies and gents, the all drive Miata. Trying out this new lens. Maybe like super close up, but it's kind of cool, right? I mean, that's like pro. I'm a pro now. It looks like a pro show. Either way, guys, that is pretty much it. So the all-wheel drive Miata is pretty much done. We still have a lot of improvements to do, a lot of different things we're gonna do to it, but the base setup of the Rally Miata is done, and it's ready to be tuned, which is the fun part. So I've scheduled a dyno day for this coming Wednesday. When you guys see this on YouTube, it will have already happened. But we don't have the drive shaft shop axles yet, so if those come on time, then we'll go to the dyno day. If not, unfortunately the tuner is only in the area for 1 week every month, so we'll either have to wait an entire month to get it tuned or go to a different tuner. We'll probably just go to a different tuner. But point is that this Wednesday should be dyno day. We're gonna find out what this thing can do. I can't wait. Of course, guys, if you wanna see the dyno video right now, if you wanna see the world's first all-wheel drive Miata, hopefully making some big power on an all-wheel drive dyno with some insane sounds, you can head over to Patreon and see that video right now. Thank you all so much for the support. Thank you for making this build happen, guys. I'm so excited for this summer to see what we can do with this and for the other ideas I have for the other builds, but I'll see you then. Peace out, have a great day, and bye.